All right, people, what is going on? Back with another First and Frame Rates show. This is episode 247. Look, there is a lot to talk about. I am so excited about this episode. I'm gonna try to contain myself because there's a lot to talk about. You already know the news and everything that's happened at Georgia Southern. I'm pretty much going to stick with that. There's not much of Falcons talk today. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the Braves, but all that's going to be pushed aside right now, and I'm going to talk about this big hire at Georgia Southern, and I am so ecstatic. I'm very, very happy about it, but I'm going to try to contain myself. I'm going to talk about what really is in front of us right now because there's a lot of expectations, and we're going to see how this plays out. If this is your first time here, I really appreciate you coming through. Hopefully you sit around and listen. I do these episodes every Wednesday morning, have them up for you guys. If you're here on YouTube, you can listen to this on iTunes. You can listen to this on Spotify and Anchor. I don't have it up on SoundCloud and Google Podcasts as of right now. That's still in a work in progress, so I will be working on that sometime down the road. It's been going back and forth with that avenue, but that's another story for another day. All right. Earlier this week, when I was going to make a video about players that possibly could transfer out of Georgia Southern, things were just not going well with the program. You know, Coach Kevin Whitley was the interim head coach. Well, he still is. He's still the interim head coach. And, you know, I thought it's going to be a chance to see what players, what they can do or whatever the case may be. But it's gotten pretty, rough. And I thought, like, if this trend continues to go the way it is, we're going to have a situation where players going to probably want to leave. I've been pretty much advocating for particular players to play certain positions, but I'm just a guy behind a microphone. I don't know anything. But I was advocating for that. And if I think they're well suited for those positions, and I can tell that some of these players were frustrated, and I was going to make a video basically like players who were possibly in danger of leaving if the right coach wasn't hired. Now, I'm not saying that Coach Clay Helton is the right coach, but this is a damn good coach that we got right here. I don't care what anybody says. People want to be Debbie Downers, which we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I really feel that Helton is a phenomenal coach for this position. Not just a phenomenal coach in general, but just for this position and where we need to go as a program. And I think the majority of the kids who I want to stay, I think they will end up staying because I will say this. If you're on offense, you may want to try to stick around. I think you're going to be able to flourish in this offense. And I think the process of this hiring, I think Coach Helton knew that what he had in front of him. There's a lot of talent on this team. I think a lot of this talent was just misappropriated. It was just misused. I don't think it was used in the proper context or in just the proper way in general. I felt like this team or the teams that was going on the past few years won games in spite of the offense and or defense was running. We recruited very well. And I think that the guys that are here, that is thanks to the last coaching staff, the last coach and the coaching staff that was here. I think they did a phenomenal job getting good players here. So I'm thinking that when Coach Helton was called upon, shout out to Jared Benko. Jared Benko did a phenomenal job getting the coach that he felt that could be the guy who can lead this program. And we'll get into that a little bit later too, as far as leading the program. But I nobody saw this coming, but with him getting here and him being a really good recruiter, you're going to see a lot of players that are probably going to come here that are really good. I mean, really good. If you look at some of the people that he's pulled into USC, if he can get that type of talent down here in the South or even pull those people or those players from there, that'll be great because the Sun Belt is really, really good. The conference is really good. I think people are not really gasping or embracing what the Sun Belt is right now. It's a phenomenal conference, and I'm going to talk about this at another date. I don't think the Sun Belt is going to be looked as a Group of 5 conference somewhere down the line. I think this conference is going to be very, very prominent, but we'll talk about that at another time. But I will say, Coach Helton probably looked at this roster. He probably seen what he had here, said, look, I think I can make things happen here. I got a quarterback that's here, that's a freshman. he can do some things with Cam Ransom. He got two good running backs that are going to be returning in Jalen White and Gerald Green. One could be a bell cow. The other one could be somewhat of a scat back. Both of them are very talented. I don't know the status of Amari Jones, but you do have a couple of receivers that can play. Durham Burgess, I talked about him like a lot. J.J. McCaffrey has the size. You still have a couple of good tight ends. And the offensive line may need some work in the passing game, but you have the offense that you want. I'm a big proponent of moving Sean Pell-Kiss into defense, and let's talk about defense. Move him over there to defense. You got Derek Canteen coming back. You got a couple of other guys in the secondary that plays pretty well. I think Kadri Jackson and I can't remember the other guy. Glenn. I think his name is Glenn. Glenn is coming back from Florida State. You got the talent here. Now you add that with people, if they don't leave, let's just say for the cases those players don't transfer with her, which I don't think they will. You look at Najee Thompson as another one who could do a little bit of everything. You bring those guys in along with the people that he may bring in from the transfer portal as well. You got a team that possibly could be successful right away. And I'm not joking when I say I think next year he could be primed to be a big a big threat in the Sun Belt East easily. Because I think this team has more talent than pretty much any other team in the East. Probably in the West, they probably have the most talent. I mean, Appalachian State has some phenomenal talent. They always bring the talent up to the forefront. But Appalachian State and Georgia Southern's always been neck and neck as far as talent. Always. But now you have a coach who has ties all over the country that are coming in and probably going to bring some guys in. It brings a whole new dynamic. Coastal Carolina has been doing okay with their recruiting or just keeping players grounded to play to their highest potential. So like I said, the East is going to be looking really good. And let's talk about the East. You're going to have teams like Old Dominion. Marshall's probably is going to be here, in the East as well. And you have James Madison's going to be here. So, next 4 or 5 years, if Coach Helton is still around, this is going to be something very, very interesting to look at. Very interesting. And I think that's one thing that Benko was looking at when he saw the writing on the wall. I don't think this was more like a situation with the whole bus situation and the coach losing control of the team. I honestly feel that if this team went 500 or maybe slightly above 500, I don't think Lunsford probably would have been here any longer because the writing is on the wall with the trajectory of the Sun Belt, and I think being 7-5, 8-4, I don't think that's going to bode well for this program, and I think Benko has the vision to see that it's going to be something much bigger than going that route and plus with the talent that you have. We have a lot of talent here. I feel that this team could be a 10-win, 11-win team with the talent on the field. And that's even if Ransom didn't play. That's a whole different story. I like what I saw in the Georgia State game. We threw the ball. We did pretty well. Like I said, these players are more than capable of running more of a traditional college, offense. We did fairly well. It's just the defense was not holding up. C.J. Wright got hurt, and you saw what happened with that. But I'm just looking at the situation where I think we got a very good coach here, and people are going to say that, the negative, because no coach is perfect. No coach is every coach has baggage. Even the great Nick Saban has his issues. Everything's not peaches and cream in every organization. I think Clay Helton checks all the boxes that's needed. Power 5 experience. He lost his job. He had something to prove. And this is the thing I said. I think you should get a Power 5 coach that needs something to prove. And with the trajectory of the Sun Belt, who's to say that he may leave if another job comes about? Because if the Sun Belt keeps growing and keeps getting better, who's to say we can't be better than at least one or two of these Power 5 conferences? I think the Big Ten, I think the SEC, and maybe hell even the Pac-12, I don't think we'll be able to catch up with them. But the ACC, I'm not too far-fetched to say that we can't catch up to them. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see why not. The Big 12, I think we can catch up with the Big 12. I think the Sun Belt has more better quality football than the Big 12. And in some cases, you can make the case for the ACC because outside of Clemson, who they got? You see what I mean? So I want us to feel that we're big boys too. This is a big boy hire. We got boys on. We got young men on the field playing big boy football. Shout out to Tyler Bride. Hopefully he's okay. He said he's doing great. That was a horrific looking injury. Hopefully he's doing great. I always say he plays big boy football because he plays like a big boy out there. But that's another story. When we spotlight some players, but we need to start treating ourselves as if we are one of these top elite Power 5 schools. I feel that we can compete with Power 5 schools. You think I'm lying? Let's go into the time capsule. Let's look back. The Minnesota game, we almost won that game, and I don't like to talk about that game. You look at Appalachian State continuously being threats to Power 5 schools. Coastal Carolina is another one. Why not us? Even Georgia State almost beat Auburn. I mean, why not us? Why not just Georgia State? Why not the Sun Belt can't be as prominent as these other schools? So when you look at a Clay Helton, I don't think that this could be a situation where he may be around for a while. And that could be a freezing cold take around at a later date. But when you really look at the situation, he could be around for a while. You look at the trajectory of what's going on with the Sun Belt. I don't see why we can't be better than at least 2 or 3 of these Power 5 conferences. Yeah, I know money talks and money is involved with these bigger schools, or these bigger conferences, but money is what makes this conference go. And if we can get the money and we can start getting quality games, we can get better contracts on TV, we can get better players here, it could be something serious. And nobody said that when the Big 8 was around. Yeah, the Big 12 was the Big 8 at one point. Now look at the Big 12. They're still one of these Power 5 teams, Power 5s. You know what I'm saying? There was one time the ACC didn't have Virginia Tech, Miami. There was one time they didn't have Louisville, but they evolved. 20 years ago, the ACC wasn't what they were. Well, I take that back, probably 25 years ago. So there's no telling what, and things are just moving so rapidly right now, no telling what the Sun Belt may be in 5 years from now. Nobody told us 10 years ago, honestly, nobody knew 10 years ago that Georgia Southern was going to be in the FBS, Appalachian State was going to be in the FBS. Things just happen so fast. So don't sell yourself short thinking that Clay Helton could possibly just leave at the side of a new job. We just don't know that. It depends on what the legacy that he carries behind him. He could be here for 10 years. We don't know what the future holds. I mean, we know the tradition, what happens. You see what happened with Eli Drinkowitz when he was at Appalachian State and all this other stuff. You see where they, Satterfield, and he left once Louisville opened. But you just never know. You don't know. So my thing is, I'm going to treat this as if he's going to be here for the long run. If not, and some of his predecessors behind him will probably pick up the ball and run with it and continue to have that success. But I'm banking on that he'll be here at a minimum of 5. At a minimum of 5. And I hope, if I'm wrong, that's fine, but I hope I'm right. Because I want to see, this flourish into something where we could be a powerhouse, where we could be going for 6, 7, 8 straight Sun Belt titles. Get us a January bowl game. I don't want this to be a 2-year deal where, we finally got 2 11-win seasons and now we're back to possibly winning just 7 wins. I don't want to see that. I want us to be big boy football right along with the rest of those other big boys that's in the Power 5, because I feel that with the prestige and the recognition and all the stuff that Georgia Southern does, I feel that we are just as prominent as those other schools. And this is something that we need to work on. And it's something that I want to work on, and hopefully we'll get there. Now, can we get there? That's the question. The question is, can we get there? And we're going to go into a little bit of Helton's career. He was, this was his 7th season at, USC. He went 46 and 24, 36 and 13 in the Pac-12. He also took over for Steve Sarkisian throughout the 2015 season, and he's been on the staff since 2010. So he's been there for about 10 years. He's been there for a good little while. And I think he did pretty well for himself because he did win the Pac-12. He did win a Rose Bowl. I just thought that, with what he has, he brings that down here to Statesboro. That is just phenomenal. I really think it's a pretty good look, So with the recruiting level he's recruited people like the quarterback you may know in Georgia, JT Daniels. He recruited Max Brown, which is another quarterback that's there. Yeah, who else did he have? Sam Darnold is another quarterback. So he knows talent. Yes, those guys are probably in a different area, whatever the case may be. They're in California or whatever the case may be. It's kind of easy to recruit people that's closer to the school. Why he can't, start being on the road and recruiting guys in the Southeast? He may not have ties to the Southeast, but he can bring people in that are. And I heard that he does have people that's tied to the Southeast. Why not? What about some of those kids that are at SC that want to come back this way? Because there are some kids at SC that he recruited or they transferred because of him. Probably want to still, be with him, and at Georgia Southern and be closer to home. So it could work out. And not only that, with all the success, that I can say all the success, but he had pretty good success at USC. And this is a good time for him to redeem himself. It's a good chance for him to, show people that he has something to prove. This is a really good look, so I really feel that this could be a place where he can really flourish. And not only that, he may be in a situation where he may sit around for a while, because I'm starting to get away from that whole mantra that, okay, this is a Power 5 school that's calling some of the group of fives, I just think that's going to start turning because of the expansion of the Sun Belt. I don't think we're going to be the small kids anymore. I think we're going to have a situation where that we're going to be just as good, if not better, than a lot of these Power 5 schools, a lot of them. The conference in general, no, but the schools themselves, yeah. I mean, if you really look at I'm not even going to go through it again, but if you look at some of these teams that are in the Power 5, I think some of these schools in the Sun Belt are just as good, if not better. I honestly feel that way. And I think with Helton coming down here to States, bro, it's just going to be a phenomenal look. I mean, I really feel that he's going to be able to have some success here. I think the offense is going to change, and I'm about to get into that and what people think about that. I think the offense is going to change. It's just going to be a different culture here. I think he's going to be bringing it to the point where we're going to have some success. I think we're going to have some really good seasons here. Now, getting away from the option, I'm not talking about the triple option, just the option in general. I think it's probably going to still be in the playbook. I don't think it's going to go all the way away. I'm not 100% sure. One thing I do need to do, I need to start looking at some of the games that Helton coached at USC so I can see what type of plays they ran. But what I want to see is, what I think we'll see is more of a traditional offense. I think we'll see that. And it's going to be really good to see. It's going to be kind of refreshing because with a quarterback like Cam Ransom, I think he'll flourish in something like this. And I'm not sure how some of the fan base is going to take it. I looked on Twitter today. Some of the people on Twitter was not too enthusiastic about getting away from the option. Look, I understand that the glory days, they were beautiful. I've been on that bandwagon. I know what it's like. I know I loved it. It was a beautiful thing to watch. I mean, I remember going back and look at a few games, the Old Dominion game, the Taylor Heineke game, the Florida game. I love looking at those games and all the other games when I was at the school and I saw when, I remember, vividly back in 06 when, the Chanticleers came in, Coastal Carolina before they were Coastal Carolina now, when they came in, and the way we played against them. I mean, it was a good time to see that style of offense and the way it was ran. But now it's more of a situation where we just need more of a traditional style offense. It just needs to be done. And the way that Helton is bringing it, I think he's going to be able to bring that style of offense. I think we're just going to be a really good team going forward. I think we already have the players. I think we have the, everything on pretty much everything on offense. The defense, a few tweaks here and there, will be fine. But, I just think people now just they love what they used to have in the past. And that just goes for like anything. A lot of people like to hold on to legacy things that worked out for them. And I get it. I'm not against it. But you got to understand, look at all these other schools. You look at, I'm not saying that the option is not successful or whatever the case may be. But when you look at these other schools, most of them have more of a pro style, offense, or they have a spread or something like that. And I think, Helton, he is really good at, getting pro style quarterbacks. So we're going to be in for a big shift. We already kind of saw it in basketball. Some people might say that the basketball team might have slipped back a little bit because Byington is now at James Madison, which we're going to be seeing him shortly once the conference realigns, but I think with what we have in return with Brian Berg will be fine. And I think what we have with Helton is going to be okay. I think this is just going to be another addition to the turnaround in Georgia Southern athletics in general, where pretty much all the athletics are doing their thing within their own right. I mean, the golf team just won the Sun Belt. I mean, the volleyball team is doing good. It's just, it's just a lot of stuff under that, the athletic umbrella that's going to be, that's going well, and football is just going to be another one that's going to flourish. I feel it. I believe it. I'm on board with this. If it doesn't happen, hey, we're just going to be back to the drawing board, but you can't sit here and tell me that this Clay Helton hire was not the move. I believe that it was. I think that we're going to be very successful, and I want us to be very successful, so I think things will change when if we do start winning, which, I'm hoping that we do win. I hope that we do. Even if it's for 2, 3, 4 years, I would like to see us win. And I think I'm looking at my screen now. I'm hearing that this deal is for 5 years for Helton. So Helton's getting a 5-year deal. This is a perfect time. You got to understand, it's now 2021. He's probably going to be here to 2026, 2027. By then, the realignment is going to be there as far as the Sun Belt's going to be realigned. You never know. What if he gets an extension? You just never know. What if he leaves early? It's just so many variables. We don't know what's going to happen. We just don't know. So I'm really trying to see this happen. I really want to see this go on to the point where we are going into a upward trajectory, and we're actually making moves, and we're sitting here talking about, hey, we're about to win game number 9. We're in the running for the Sun Belt once again. We're going to make things happen, and I cannot wait to see this go in that direction. Hopefully it does. I'm a big fan of the hire. Hopefully you guys are too. Before I wrap this up, I do want to talk about the type of defense that I would like to see, because Clay Helton is all about offense, but defensively, I want to see more. Pretty much more of the same. I think our defense is really not an issue. The secondary could use some, could cover a little bit better, well, a lot better. Even though they did pretty well overall against Georgia State. Derek Cantine's going to be back. We're going to get another, Derek Cantine's going to be back, so we're going to get another piece to the puzzle in the secondary. We're going to recruit some more guys, some guys that are already here, probably going to stick around. Maybe we get some transfers to come in to play some defense. Also, I would like to see Sean Pell-Kisson get on defense. Somebody needs to get to Coach Helton like ASAP and put Sean Pell-Kisson on defense. I don't care if I have to start a hashtag. I don't care if I have to coach myself. Tell him to take a look at Sean Pell-Kisson, because he has a monster on his team that should not be playing tight end. Shouldn't be playing tight end. He needs to go ahead and put him on defense. I just want to see more of an aggressive style defense, because a lot of teams are passing a good bit in the Sun Belt. The running game, is okay, but I think just with the secondary, if we can help the secondary out by getting more of a pass rush, we do okay. But I think we can do a little bit better with the pass rush. I don't know who the defensive coordinator is going to be under Helton, but I feel that with his, his experience and where he's coming from, I'm pretty sure he has a good pick of whoever he wants to bring in at defense. I can't wait to see this happen. I'm be honest, I'm really excited. And another thing before I go, I want to talk about some stats really, really quick. And it's not like a big time stat or anything, but Helton, he had the top 15 offenses 3 out of the last 5 years. His recruiting class has been in the top 20. outside of 2020, well, 2020 was the pandemic, so we don't, I don't really count 2020, but he's done very well for himself as far as recruiting and on offense. I just need to see who he's bringing to the table on defense, because I think the offense is going to be a little different, but I think it's going to be fine. So that's going to be really interesting to see. One more thing. This is going to be the last thing, I promise, because I'm getting towards the 30-minute mark where I really want to put this podcast at 30 minutes. What I really want to see at the end of the day is how we're really going to recruit. This is what I really want to see, how well we're going to recruit. I just feel that getting a head start on early recruiting is very, very interesting, because the time of this hire, he gets a head start, which that starts on the 15th of December. So he's going to be here roughly a month and a half to not only see the talent that he has, but then he can start getting guys that he probably already had his eye on at USC, probably try to get them to come down here, or probably start talking to people that are here, that are, in the fold now. And another thing, I with him being here, and he's not necessarily going to be on the field coaching the team, because I think Whitley's going to still be around. I think he's just going to be here overseeing the practices and being on campus. He has more leeway to go around to see what's going on as far as recruits with the recruiting team, where he brings his own people in. It's going to be really interesting to see who they bring in, and I'm going to be bringing you as much information about that. I just saw recently, which we did have a recruit that was picked up. I want to pull him up real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to pull him up. Hopefully I'll find him. He's a running back from Alabama, and I was floored. Right after the Georgia State game, we was able to pick him up. And here he is right here. It's LT Sanders. LT Sanders is one of the recruits that was picked up by Georgia Southern just recently. He looks pretty good. I may do a video on him and talk about him. So I'm looking at this, and then, is this a product of Clay Helton? Do we know? I don't know. But with him being in the fold, and as of right now, we know that Jalen White and what's his name, Gerald Green's going to be here. We might be in good hands. We're going to see how this plays out. So that's pretty much where I'm going to stand at. I love the hire. Let me know what you guys think. If you're on YouTube, pretty sure that you guys pretty much feel the same way I do. If not, let me know in the comment section. Like or dislike this. And thank you if you made it this far. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're listening to this on the podcast avenues, give me a 5-star rating. Also that helps people find this podcast, let people know what I'm doing, and you'll have more people, more eyes on it, more people be more engaged, and maybe be more interested in Georgia Southern as well as Atlanta Falcons football. So hopefully we get that squared away. Thank you guys once again. I will see you guys on the next one. You guys be easy. You guys be blessed. Peace.